I'm Nithya Solomon. I'm Deputy Director of Health Transformation Lab, and we've got some of our team here around the room as well. So I'll just introduce you. There's Mondo sitting over back there, so just give a wave, Mondo. Yep, and Sai. And we've got Lauren here, and Joe over there. Juan is here, and we've got Brad, who will also join us soon. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the, and a special new friend that might be, become friends with Tammy soon. Yes, so the Health Transformation Lab, and I should say, the way that we are defining health is in a very broad sense of not just within the health system alone, but literally if you go back to the World Health Organization definition of health, it's quite, that was written back in 1948. This is a statement that speaks to, very holistic health and well-being. And, of course, from the state of the world, there's lots to be up in arms about around, health and health considerations. And there's a lot that occupies many of us as it relates to issues and the intersections between well-being, health, and how, people your age are showing up in surveys as being quite deeply concerned about, areas of social justice and planetary health and all these kinds of things as well. But when the Health Transformation Lab was set up, then I just wanted to, talk a little bit about the type of group that we are. It was recognizing that in places like Australia, the health system was, as it relates to groups that can really be a connector in health system and innovation, there are, some very encouraging models internationally, but in Australia, there seemed to be a gap in who could be a go-to destination where policymakers could, be in conversation with academics, with students, with healthcare providers, with hospitals. So how do we create a space for different parts of the health system to have a reason to talk to each other beyond ways that you would get in the normal sort of day-to-day running of work? And so this Health Transformation Lab was set up, anchor funded by Cisco Systems, but really set up in RMIT, under a backdrop of Melbourne Innovation District. Cisco has a similar kind of partnership with Flinders University, but how could we start, bridging the corporate world, the education world within precincts and the health system to just spark new models of collaboration. And so I just wanted to give you some, and so this is, a bit of a dynamic visual to say that, so we do look at being interdisciplinary or even anti-disciplinary. We'll look at topic areas like cybernetics. We'll look at, where design and technology and, the human can all kind of meet and have a conversation. And what ultimately does that mean to improve health and improve lives and improve well-being, and what are perhaps some overlooked opportunities to do that. And so in this visual, we've just got a little bit of a way of how, I think it's saying, I might skip over it because it's repeating something that we said before, but literally that researchers, clinicians, and even patients can, find a way to collaborate and help. So just to give you a sense of some of the types of topics we look at, we all saw in the pandemic, car spaces turned into vaccination hubs and, pop-up testing sites and the like. But just prior to the onset of the pandemic, this idea of designing into the health system an ability to, dynamic capacity, so the ability to anticipate that there might be stresses, that there might be challenges. There are some great examples of spaces in Israel that are designed in conflict type zones where who knows, where surge capacity and design for surge capacity are very vital. So you spoke about the negative pressure kind of areas at Peter Mac being kind of repurposed or used by governments in pandemic times. So the ability that there are health spaces with tools or features built in that could serve multiple purposes, This space in Israel has a 3-story car park that can be repurposed to an entire hospital ward within a matter of 2 days. They used a different system for COVID management, but spaces are actually designed anticipating that there might be some other use in mind, and that can be really helpful to the health system in times of unanticipated shock. Examples in the UK of where similar spaces, and we've seen car park testing during COVID happening everywhere, really, as an example of just other infrastructure that's not really a health space or wasn't designed to be a health space, but might be reclaimed to be one if needed. Cisco indeed has this thing called Medibus, which is literally let's make the health space mobile. So we put it on wheels, and they have a bus that's it got a floor plan, something like this, where there's a screening space. It's all connected up with very robust Wi-Fi and internet infrastructure, which literally means that it can travel out to communities, and so it can take the equation of having hardships in traveling to a health space out for many. I believe some of these Medibuses even had the ability to video conferencing to translators if someone needed help with different language services. And shipping containers we also saw being repurposed for all sorts of uses in the pandemic as well. Although currently other supply chain issues might have impacted the availability of shipping containers to do a lot, but that's a story for another time perhaps. So then virtual care delivery, and I'm going to rush through some of these examples too, because I'm keen to show you some of the stuff that we've got built into the lab as well. But we've got, and you're probably the first group that will have the presentation and kind of see the reality sort of in the same breath. But virtual, before telehealth became part of our everyday vernacular, this concept of what could it mean to deliver health virtually or have virtual experiences in health was, was being had. And so here at the Health Lab, we set up with the help of Cisco and some others, spaces where we might be able to create a digitally rich environment that researchers, practitioners, designers, technologists could actually come in to experiment and prototype solutions, because it's not that you can walk into a hospital in the midst of operation and expect to be able to try out ideas. I mean, that's not feasible, disruptive, and actually not there are good reasons to not do that. Yet could we create environments where that kind of experimentation could happen? And so we actually have, for those in the room, you can sort of turn around behind you, and we've actually got sort of the simulations of a virtual healthcare space and environment here. So we've got a hospital room that's got Cisco monitors that can, with a click of a button, you can call other devices. We've got next to it a consultation space, and please feel free to get up and have a look as well. And at this point, but what we were trying to do is I'll show you a couple of slides, and then I'll do a little tour on the laptop, and you can do for those of you in the room, you can tour as well. But we wanted to look at what are the opportunities to transform the waiting experience. Could the use of technology and the cameras that can recognize who you are, could they trigger part of a health consultation already while you're waiting? What you see on the slide is a physical waiting area, but the same analogy could be applied to telehealth and virtual waiting experiences as well. How could that experience actually be either made more comfortable, more personalized, or a part of potentially the interaction that you're about to have? Likewise, could we, the picture on the slide here is maybe not what you'd expect your typical health consultation space to look like, but what are the opportunities to use technology that can dial in specialists into the environment seamlessly, and how many visits could you cut out of the whole chain of health delivery if you can make it possible for consultation time to be digitally connected as well. And at the point of care delivery, so within patient rooms or care rooms, what some opportunities there to transform the experience. So with that, I might stop sharing and got to get back to.
Spot the time person, if somebody wants to do an interchange, we could very much set up sure, but if, you could imagine like what would be
you'll struggle with
testing out the combination. Sure. Because that's got so Brad Peter Mac has a tiny robot.
Oh, cool.
We just got it about 2 months ago.
That sounds good. I'd love to come see it.
So for those online, if you would like to come in another time and have a look at stuff, please, we can do that for you. But this is it creates a lot of joy and amusement when people first see it and kind of wow factor. But is in itself an incredibly interesting, super advanced piece of technology, and perhaps Brad can speak a little bit more about what we're trying to explore with Spot and social robotics again, and be in terms of workflow.
The 2-minute pitch, I guess, is that robots figure in the future of pretty much everything at the moment. And these particular types of robots tend to get used a bit in construction, and not just at the beginning of this work now, and we've got to
How incredible.
and just stop everything, and it does nothing other than surprise people and derail really any meeting that you introduce it to.